Welcome to the Joy of Cruising podcast with your host, award-winning author Paul C. Thornton, a weekly conversation with the amazing cruisers featured in the Joy of Cruising books comprised of The Joy of Cruising, Cruising Interrupted, new release, The Joy of Cruising Again, as well as other fun, informative, global cruise personalities. It is the next best thing to cruising, hearing about cruising from the unique and diverse perspectives of Paul's amazing guests. If you hear about a cruise that interests you, book it at www.thejoyofcruising.net. It helps support the channel through our partnership with Where's Walters Travel. We really appreciate your feedback, so leave us a text. Paul can't reply, but he may read your text on air.
Hello, passionate cruisers. This is Paul. And this week on the Joy of Cruising podcast, I am delighted to welcome Kaveen and Vincent McMillan, creators of McMillan's On the Go. This episode is one of those I podcast about occasionally when I come across photos and narrative about some unique bucket list experience. Kaveen had posted the following on social media, along with some lovely photos of her family, which you may have seen in the promos for this episode. When you're told we might just be the very first documented Black family of 5 to not only visit Antarctica together, but to all polar plunge, and your 8-year-old might be the youngest and smallest polar plunger. She's tiny, y'all. She's 8 years, but doesn't look it. She's very petite. We will take the title until proven otherwise because I am here for it all. Man, McMillan's On the Go is out here doing the damn thing. I said, yes, you are McMillan's On the Go, and the Joy of Cruising podcast is here for it. And I just reached out, cold. Hi, I'd love for you to share your story with the cruise community on the Joy of Cruising podcast. Fortunately, she agreed, and after she agreed, I asked Kaveen for some thoughts about their brand. She told me, McMillan's On the Go was born from a desire to help families experience the joys of traveling together, frustrated by how many families felt unable to explore the world with their children. We began sharing tips on budget and luxury travel that won't break the bank. I'm Kaveen, the brains behind it all, an educator, a mom of 3, and a travel enthusiast. Married to my high school sweetheart, who lets me explore the world and tags along to any adventure. Together, we balance our careers with a passion for exploring new places and creating lasting family memories. For us, traveling is a wonderful way to learn and appreciate the incredible beauty of God's handiwork. Kaveen, a graduate from the University of Central Florida, is a full-time educator, a wife, a mom of 3, amazing blessings, Dominic, Ayana, and Milana. She is the main writer behind the blog, McMillan's On the Go, with pop-up collaborations from Vincent. Welcome, Kaveen and Vincent, to the Joy of Cruising podcast.
Hey, how are you?
Fabulous.
So how you both doing?
We're doing great.
Been a great day. Fantastic. So
Good. Well, before we talk about McMillan's On the Go, tell our listeners about yourselves, where you're from, where you live, how did you meet, your professional background, anything you are willing to share.
All right, awesome. I can go ahead and go first. So I am Kaveen, originally from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Been here in the States for over 20-something years. We live here in Orlando, Florida. And how did we meet? We met in high school. And I am professionally, I'm an educator by heart and a travel addict anytime outside of that.
yeah, I'm originally from Orlando, born and raised, Vincent, and I went to the University of Florida, and I've been back in Orlando ever since I graduated. And like she said, we met in high school, and we've been rocking ever since. I'm also a realtor in the entire Central Florida area.
So I ask every guest about their cruising background. So talk about your first cruise, when and what ship.
Right, our first cruise was actually Carnival Liberty It was a birthday trip for me. It was both of our first cruise. And yeah, that was a great experience. Just an awesome first time.
How long ago was that?
That was before COVID.
Yeah,
So,
it was, I believe that was 2018.
18 or
BC.
Yeah, yeah, before COVID. Yeah, 2018.
Uh-huh. So what were your impressions of cruising
I like
on that first cruise?
well on the first cruise, I like the fact that you can pay one price and get access to everything. And I love the opportunity to be able to go on one trip, so to speak, and then hit several countries. So I love the flexibility of that. So that's one of the things that we really loved about cruising.
Yeah, I like the all inclusive, like she said, being able to eat whenever I wanted to, and the food was delicious. So I had no complaints about the food. There was a lot of stuff to do, and it was you didn't have to go, like she said, you can go to country when you're traveling on a plane, but with the cruise, you're in one ship, and there's so much stuff that you can do in that one area, and a lot of things to do in one day.
Now let me ask you, did that first cruise stop in Jamaica by any chance?
It was Bahamas and no, was it? It was Bahamas and I think just Grand Bahamas,
Oh, okay.
Nassau and Grand Bahamas.
Okay. So would you say you got hooked or just not really? Had to grow on you?
I was hooked. I love cruising. Like I said, having everything in one spot is fantastic. I love the entertainment that's on the ships. I wish we could do it more. We would like to do it a whole lot more than we have. So yeah, I'm definitely hooked and ready to get on another one.
I like that it gives you a taste of the location so that you're able to fly and go back and experience it a little bit longer.
How soon did you cruise again?
Yeah, our next cruise after that was actually a family vacation because we liked it so much. We did that basically for our yearly family get together. And this time it was on Royal Caribbean, and it was the entire family. The first time it was just me and Kevin, but after that we took our kids and we also took our parents, and we all went on a Royal Caribbean cruise.
You remember which ship?
I don't remember that. I think it might have been Majesty of the Sea.
I think so. Yeah, it was Majesty of the Seas. I think so.
So how did the kids take to cruising?
Oh, they loved it. They love being able to wake up all times of night and get all kind of food they want to. They love the Lido deck because our kids like to eat. So they love the slides, the pool, just having access to everything whenever they want to.
Yeah, they really love that pizza at any time of the day. They always had that option to get some pizza and some ice cream, so they love that.
And the room service.
Yeah.
Now, do you guys cruise a lot?
Not as much as we want to, but yeah.
We do a cruise at least once a year.
When was the cruise that first brought you all to my attention? Antarctica.
Yes, Antarctica was the cruise, and it's one of our longest cruise that we've been on.
Yeah, that was in March, this past March, just a few months ago.
What motivated you to take the family to Antarctica?
So we have a goal to hit all 7 continents within the next 2 years. So we had Antarctica and Australia left. And we've been to Asia by way of Istanbul. So I unofficially call Asia as part of it. So that's one of the reasons why Antarctica came into play, is because as a family, we wanted to hit all 7 continents and knock it out within the next 2 years. So that's how Antarctica came into play.
So on the other continents that you've hit, was it all like cruise travel, or is it some land travel as well?
It was mostly land travel.
Okay. Okay. Talk about Antarctica. Give us all the glorious details. First planning it, then what were the highlights? Talk about the kids' impressions, and of course, what were your impressions?
So Antarctica. So in 2020, 3, I said, we need to go to Antarctica. We need to knock this baby out. Didn't quite know how we're going to make it happen. So we started to do some research on different cruise lines. One of the things that I truly wanted to do is I wanted to step foot on land. I didn't want it to go the traditional cruise line where you're just cruising in the vicinity, because if we're going to spend that money, I'm going to step foot on it. So
Right,
that's
right.
what we did. So we decided to look into expedition cruises and to um, see how it was like. And then, of course, we have our 8-year-old. So we wanted to see how the Drake Passage would be. And the planning process is we did a ton of research because we didn't want it to just be us. We wanted to be the entire family to see how the kids would react, different experiences of people who took their kids. We got some positive information and we got some negative information as to why we're taking our kids to Antarctica. Nevertheless, I blocked out all of that and we made it happen. But
I'm curious. What kind of negative vibes did you get?
So the negative vibes that I got was Antarctica cruise is not for kids. They're going to be bored. You're wasting your time taking your kids on a cruise. It's not the Antarctica cruise. It's not the traditional cruise. So all of those things that we got, and then of course my youngest one is she's special needs as well. So we got a lot of pushback from that. But our kids have been traveling since they're 3 to 6 months, and they are used to being around other adults as well. So if you talk to my 8-year-old, she can hold a adult conversation. She's
Uh-huh.
well traveled, so I wasn't concerned about that. And because I'm an educator by heart, I always have something for them to do. So, and they're close in age, so they were never going to be bored. So that's one of the things that a lot of people were kind of knocking me about. Oh, those kids are going to be bored for 10 days. Man, they had a grand time. The Drake Passage was a whole experience for them.
Well, before you get into that, because I want to talk about the Drake. So what cruise line and cruise ship or expedition ship did you take?
So we went on Atlas Ocean Voyagers.
Atlas Ocean. Okay.
Yes. They're newer to Antarctica. They came out after COVID. They came out after COVID is when they launched their first ship. I think it was 2022 when they lost land. Can't talk. Launch their first expedition cruise line. So we chose them because they're a little bit newer. We wanted to see how they run things and things of that nature.
So, and you embarked from Florida?
We flew from Florida to, we had a connection in Houston, but we flew from Florida to Argentina.
Okay, okay. And then you caught the you got on Atlas in Argentina.
Yes. We spent they had an overnight stay for us in Buenos Aires, and then we took a charter from Buenos Aires to Ushuaia. Did a Ushuaia tour there, and then we hopped on the ship.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking embarking from Florida. I've talked to seemingly dozens of people who've been to Antarctica. I don't think you could embark from Florida to get to Antarctica.
No, you have to go to South America for that.
Yep. First, tell us about the expedition ship. Give us a walkthrough. How many did it hold?
The expedition ship we went on was about 250 people. So half of that is passengers and half of that is crew members. So about 125.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
150, if I'm not mistaken. But I know they had basically for every passenger there's a crew member. So it's very small. You can literally walk around the whole ship. So it's very small, and we really like that.
How were your accommodations?
We had two cabins. My husband and my son was in one, and then me and the girls were in one. We're right across from each other, or right next to each other, whichever one it was. We had one of those cabins, horizon cabin, where the window can go down and it acts like a balcony.
Right, right. Mm-hmm.
So that was good enough for us.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't want to actual balcony since we weren't sure. It's Antarctica, so we weren't sure what was
Mm-hmm.
going to take place. But the cruise ship was amazing. It actually spoiled us to the max. And we're like, maybe we should do expedition cruises from now on
So,
because they do go to other places and local places as well.
so what was it about the cruise ship that was now? Help me out. I know you said it was Atlas Voyages. Do you remember the name of the craft?
We'll be right back.
The Joy of Cruising podcast guests receive a gift sponsored by GigSky of a 3 gigabyte cruise plus land data package valued at $60. Relying on ship Wi-Fi is slow, unsecure, and sometimes not available. And at foreign ports, travelers don't want to pay their carriers high fees. GigSky provides a solution that will save them a significant amount of money. To get your own data package usable on the ship or in ports, here is my link to GigSky. https://gigsky.pxf.io/NLOXOR. This can be found in the show notes below. For a 10% discount, use the code Joy of Cruising.
Atlas Ocean Voyager, and the particular ship was World Traveler.
World Traveler. Okay. What was so appealing about the World Traveler? Besides, it sounds like you had nice rooms, nice cabins.
So yeah, we had amazing rooms. The customer service was amazing. What's the guy that took care of our room? They came into our room twice a day and made up everything. And every time they came in there, they left something extra for the kids. So they love that. Room service is included 24 hours. I know on a traditional cruises, you have to buy the drink package. The drink package, can't talk. The drink package was all included except for, premium liquor. But
make sure you tell them you don't want the premium, but they will charge you.
Yeah.
For the premium. If you don't make it clear.
Yeah, if you don't make it clear, they're gonna give you premium, and you're gonna have a shot glass that costs $40.
But yeah, the personal care, like she said, basically 1-to-1. So our room attendant every day, he would come in and he knew us, he got to know us and knew what we wanted. Like if we always had, like she always had tea. And he always brought tea in the mornings for her because he knew that's what she liked. Or he'll give us extra water in our room because he knew that we always finish the water every day. So the personal attention was the number one thing. Like you don't get that on like the bigger ships because there's just so many people, you can't really do that. But on that small ship, that small amount of people, you get to know the people in the dining room. We used to sit at the same area. And like I said, she'd order a bowl of ice every day. And the guy already knew when he saw us come in to get the ice. They already knew what we usually order for our drinks. Do you want that again? Want that again? Breakfast, lunch, dinner. It was always personalized. So
I'm sorry. Sorry for interrupting. I was going to say, talk about the food.
Oh, it was delicious. So I'll start on the food. That's one of my. I don't know if you can tell, but the food part.
That's Vincent's department.
Yeah, that's my favorite part. So every you have the option as well in your room. They have the menu on the TV, so you can check to see what's for breakfast, what's for lunch and dinner at the different restaurants or the different areas that they serve food. So you know if I want to go to the sit down area or if I just want to grab something quick today. But it was a different menu every day, and you knew ahead of time what's going to be there. They have a chef that was cooking every meal. So it's a small ship, so he took care of every meal. And we even got to walk through the kitchen to see how they prep everything at the end of the cruise. Everything was spot on. I had no complaints about the food. And being a cruise, you could order as much as you wanted, and they gave you good portions. If you didn't like the first thing that they brought out, you can try something else. And it was just a fantastic experience.
Now, I recognize it was a small vessel. Did it have a specialty restaurant or anything like that?
So there wasn't really a specialty restaurant. There was the main, like you would on a regular cruise, like the Lido deck, where they serve all the big meals, like the captain's dinner and all that kind of thing. But aside from that, they had little snack areas, like how they have a pizza place or a Guy's Burgers on the bigger ships, where you can get a specialty kind of thing. But for the breakfast, lunch, and dinner, like I said, they have a menu, and you can order what you want when you get there. It's a full 4-course meal for for lunch and dinner. And also they had those 3 little specialty places where they just serve, sandwiches or just serve hot dogs that you can go to if you didn't want the menu items.
How did y'all spend your time on I guess on an expedition ship, they have sea days. Was it much to do, or was there anything to do?
So for the Antarctica cruises, you sail across the Drake Passage for 2 days. 2 days going and 2 days coming back. So the first day, this motion sickness got the best of me.
Getting acclimated to the Drake.
So get them acclimated to the Drake Passage. So I was out cold. I was drugged up on motion sickness pills. And one of the things, they provide that on board if yours is not strong enough, that you brought. And they also brought room service if you weren't able to make it to the dinner area. But outside of that, if you're not affected by the Drake Passage, they have different entertainment, whether it's game night going on, or they have the crewman doing different kind of performance. They had trivia, and then of course they had those lecture sessions. So every day prior to what you're going to see, they had in a theater room a lecture session to talk about what you're going to see, and they also had different movie that was playing. So those are the type of entertainment that they had when you were going through the Drake Passage. And of course, the second day we felt a little bit better, so we got to see the Drake Passage, see the different birds, and I love that. That's one of the things the kids enjoyed, because prior to going to Antarctica, we rented different documentaries, different learning tools to prepare them for what they're going to see. So while we're going to the Drake, we saw the different birds that like the Drake Passage, and the kids saw those. So we did bird watching and things of that nature. We saw the high waves and all of that stuff. So those are the things that you do during the Drake Passage or during the downtime on the ship.
Yeah. Now, Kaveen, do you deal with motion sickness on traditional cruise ships, or it was just the Drake that was causing that?
Yes, I'm the first day of any cruise. Yes, I always experience motion sickness. So I always have my pills or my patches.
How did the rest of the family, any of the kids, deal with the Drake's passages? The Drake's Passage, did any of them have trouble with it?
All of us the first day. Except for him, he just had a headache. But all of us the first day had some kind of a effect to the motion, because it was more choppy than the typical the traditional cruise. It was a lot more choppy. So the first day, all of us had some kind of effect. But after day 2, we enjoyed the Drake. We had the Drake Lake going and the Drake Shake coming.
Yeah, so the first day going and the first day coming was an adjustment, because while we were actually in Antarctica around the land spots, we go a lot slower, the water's a lot more calm. So just that first day going into it and coming back were tough. But other than that, it was a smooth cruise. And like she said, they give you they're able to bring you your food to the room no matter what it is. If you order from the menu, they'll bring it to your room if you can't make it.
Now, for the listeners who haven't been to Antarctica, I suspect that's most, certainly the case for me. Tell us, so because a lot of people have heard of the Drake's Passage and the Drake Shake. So that's that connects what?
Okay, the Drake Passage is from Ushuaia once you leave Argentina, and they actually explained this the first day when we're leaving from Ushuaia to head to Antarctica on what actually is happening in the Drake Passage. So what it is there's a lot of different elevations within the water underneath. So there's like mountains and then there's valleys. So that's what makes the water so choppy, is that there's different peaks and valleys throughout that
body of water.
Throughout that body of water. So sometimes you'll hit a dip and it dips down, or there's a high point and it's not as bad, but that whole time there's different peaks and valleys, which causes it to be so shaky. And it just depends on
a lot of temperatures meeting at that one point.
Yeah, it depends on the day whether you get the lake or you get the shake. They said we had the lake the first time. It felt pretty bad, so I experienced a real shake.
So once you get through that, how close are you to your destination?
Oh, you can see it. You start to see the different icebergs popping up, and then it's like you're in a whole nother world. It was like you stepped into a whole other planet, and it was just surreal. It was just it's like mountains, white mountains, then you can see different cloudy air. It was, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know if you want to, but it was very surreal. It was like, oh my gosh, God created this.
Yeah, you can tell when you're leaving out of it because the boat feels different. And like you said, it gets a little chillier and you can see the iceberg starting to pop up. The other thing that was tough about it was sleeping during that first night, because the boat does rock back and forth. And sometimes the door would come open and slam back closed, depending on how hard the shake was. But that first night, sleeping was a little difficult because of how much the Drake was shaking the boat.
The bathroom doors locked.
Yeah.
Say it again,
Keep your bathroom doors locked. We had the bathroom door open for the light for the kids. So if you don't want that closing back and forth, just keep the bathroom door closed.
When was talk about your first stop after the Drake?
So after the Drake Passage, the first stop that we were supposed to stop at was Deception Island. So one of the things they tell you about Antarctica. So Antarctica, you have to make sure you're being flexible when you go there. Sometimes everything is based on safety. Everything is based on weather. So if the weather is not suitable for a particular stop, then you won't stop there. So our cruise was 10 days. Or 9 days, 9 days, two going, coming back. And then we had 5 days of expedition. And how the expedition cruises work, 5 days of Zodiac, where you step off on land and explore, or you go around the water. So you do one in the AM and one in the PM. So the first day when we got to Antarctica, our goal was to go to Deception Island, but the weather wasn't the best. So we went to, was it Nico Island? We went to Nico Island and we got off the boat. It was just amazing.
Yeah, it was beautiful. We didn't get on the actual land that day. It was because, like you said, the first spot was supposed to be getting off on land. But the second one, we got into the boat and actually drove right up to the land, but we couldn't get off at that area. So what they do is they scope out the area before we go, and if it's suitable for us to walk on, they'll take us on land. But if not, we'll just get into the Zodiac and drive by and take pictures and look at the animals and just experience the atmosphere.
I say the Zodiac is just a how it's a small boat, right?
Yeah, it's a small boat that can hold about 8 to 10 people at a time.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they steer the boat, they drive the boat.
Yep, they drive the boat around. And the first days when we saw the humpbacks, we saw the orcas, they were literally
Seals.
right next to you. You could touch them, but you can't touch them.
Wow.
Yeah, it was.
Wow.
Yeah. So before you, when you come in, they have everybody set up in groups. So you get like a animal that. So we were in the SEALs group. So there's a calendar that shows what time your zodiac is going to be for that day. So they switch it every expedition. So it'll be a morning one this time, an evening one the next day, and vice versa. So every day we would have to come down when it was our time. They say, all right, if you're the SEALs, start heading down, and you get your jacket, you get your parka, you get your boots, and make sure you have some sunglasses because the light is very bright with all the white.
Mhm.
And strap up if you have gloves, and bring your gloves, your hat. But they provide you a parka, a life jacket, and boots to get on land and to be out in the elements.
Oh, they provide you a parka.
Yes,
Yes.
and you get to keep it.
And you get to keep it. And
So those beautiful green outfits that drew me to you initially, that's what you get, or did you all do that in advance?
no, we get that. That's part of their colors. Their color is green, so that they can
Oh,
buy you if anything were to happen. And every
okay.
has their own color. Some companies they're orange, some of them are red.
Okay. Because when I first saw it, I said, "Oh, look at McMillan's on the go styling." you know,
Yeah, it comes
I was
with
thinking y'all were like coordinated just because.
We typically do, but that was their Parker that they gave to us, which you get as part of your cruise, and it's very very warm as well.
Yeah, when you're doing the booking, they ask for your size and everything. Like she said, our 8-year-old came with us, so she could only get the small. So it was kind of big at the time. She's going into it. But they give you the parka, and it also has a vest underneath if you wanted to add more cushion or more heat to your body. But I found most of the times when we were actually on land walking and up the hills, it gets hot. So you don't need it until you're just sitting somewhere.
Yeah.
Now you don't get. I know this is a kind of a random question here, but you don't get any use of that. Those in Orlando,
Right?
Yeah,
But we go on a lot of winter trips, so it's beneficial. We like to go snow and skiing. We love Canada, so we'll definitely use it.
Now, forgive me if this is a dumb question, but I've never been. It's on my bucket list, although I don't know if I'm going to make it because my wife gets a little bit of motion sickness on regular cruise ships. So I know she would have trouble dealing with the drink. I probably would too, but I know she would. But so forgive this naive question, but in any of the stops, do you see people?
So one of the stops we saw some of the scientists from Argentina. So people don't really live there, but you do have scientists that come there every so often. So one of the scientists, she came on our ship, and we actually had an interview with her because my daughter absolutely loved animals, all kinds of animals. So we asked if we're able to interview her just to ask some questions. And she was kind enough to sit down. Her English was good enough for us to sit down and talk. But yes, you do have scientists that they have different bases that they're there. However, they don't stay. That was late in the season. We went March. March is considered the end of the season of Antarctica. So they were actually getting ready to wrap up before the bad winter starts. So our summer is their winter. I wanted to say something in regards to you and your wife with motion sickness. When you're leaving Ushuaia and you get to the Beacon Channel, they will tell you if you are prone to motion sickness, now is the time to take your motion sickness pill. I didn't do that because I was trying to be big and bad and make sure I can tough it out. So that's why That's why the first day I exactly. That's why the first day
Mistake
I
number
was
one.
not good to anybody because of that. So listen, when they tell you if you're prone to motion sickness, when you get to the Beacon Channel, that's right before the Drake. Take your motion sickness pill so you'll be fine. I didn't listen. I was like, oh, let me see what this is about.
Talk about I call it the grand finale, diving in the water.
All right. This was one of my favorite parts as well. So, yeah, at the end of the trip, they, like you said, it depends on weather and safety. They find an area that we can jump in. You can sign up to jump in, get a ticket, you get a number, basically, and whatever number you got, just go in order. And they call your number, you come down, and you jump in. So they strap you with a rope, basically, safety belt around your waist. And you walk out to the dock, and whenever you're ready, you jump in. And if you can swim back. They'll start pulling you in immediately. Like once you jump in, you're in there for like maybe 5 seconds, and they start pulling you up. So it was very shocking once you first get in, and the water is so salty. I've never tasted water it was so salty. So make sure you keep your mouth closed. But you're trying to take a picture, you're trying to make a big splash or whatever. It just shocks you so much that you just automatically suck the water in a little bit. But it was fantastic. All of us did it, even our 8-year-old.
What do you have on when you jump in the water?
You can have on your bathing suit. You can have on a boxer. It's all up to you. Some ladies had on their 2-piece, their 1-piece. If you don't like the cold, some people had on the whole swimming gear on them.
Yeah, some scuba gear.
It all up to you. Not the scuba gear, but the outfit, because you can't have anything that's going to stop them from pulling you back should anything happen to you.
Bodysuit.
A bodysuit, yes. But yeah, you jump in, and by the time you realize that you're cold, they're already pulling you back. So that's the shock.
Yeah, I just had on regular swimming trunks.
He was being extra
in a cap for my hair.
He was being extra too, Paul. He was jumping in the water.
Vincent, sound like you did it more than once.
Yes, we did it twice. So we we broke a record. They told us that they're the first cruise ship to be able to do it twice. I don't know. That's what they told us. But if the weather is suitable, the next day they allowed us to jump in the water twice. And then after that, we're like, oh, okay, we got this now. So it was a little bit less, but I was terrified. I was scared the first time. I can't swim, so that's why.
You did it both times?
I did it both times, yes.
First time she did it with the bodysuit, and the second time she didn't have the bodysuit because she wanted to feel it.
So how about the kids? What was their reaction?
The first time they were scared too. They were scared because of me, because you know how kids they react to my younger one actually. My son, just like his dad, jump into danger if he see it. Pray for him. But my son, he was excited. My oldest daughter, she was excited as well. My younger one, she was nervous because of me, and I felt bad about that. But the second day, I'm glad she had a chance to really jump in and have fun like she wanted to. But they loved it. They loved the fact that they got to jump in the Arctic water. So it was pretty cool.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Absolutely amazing. So what's your before we move away from Antarctica, what's the family's lasting impression of that experience?
It was amazing. I love just being able to go to an area that's so surreal. The kids really enjoy seeing the different wildlife. We saw several different types of seal. We even saw a seal chasing a penguin. The kids got a whole kick out of it. He completely ate the penguin in front of us. It was like a Discovery Channel scene. We saw humpbacks. And it was an amazing experience. It brought to life some of the documentaries that they were seeing. Because like I said, prior to going, we like to prepare them and educate them for what they're getting ready to see, because it helps create their excitement and spark their curiosity. So it was an amazing experience for them to say, hey, I went to Antarctica, and I was one of the youngest ones on the ship. So
Yeah, it was a great experience. So, like they have every day in the morning they have wildlife watching. Like you said, they see the birds, look out for whales, and if they see seals and things like that. All the experts on the ship have different specialties. So there's a person for that. There's a person to point out the different things once we got on land, and everybody that's driving the ship has their own specialty. So when you're driving with one person in the Zodiac, they're more familiar with maybe seals. One person maybe more familiar with whales. So you got a different experience every time with somebody that has a specialty in their own area. And like you said, they also gave you different lectures in the theater to go over what you're about to see and review what you just saw as well. So the whole trip was a great experience. The food, like I said, amazing. The all-inclusive drinks, amazing. They give you as much as you want. Like I said, if you don't want the top shelf stuff, you don't want to pay for it. Make sure you tell them, give me the draft or the regular stuff. And back to the polar plunge, they have drinks set up to give you that courage. So when you're in line, they're pouring it up and they're passing it out for anybody that wants.
Oh, this is before you jump.
Before you jump and after.
Yeah, before and after. If you need a little something before to get you hyped to get in, they're passing it out. And once you get out, you're cold, you need a little warm inside you, they got that for you too.
I'd have said, give me a double shot of 151 rum.
They had everything.
Yeah, we had people that was very lit going into
cognac, whatever you want before you jump in to get you okay, they got you.
So, what have you guys cruised lately?
Our Antarctica cruise was our latest cruise.
Okay. So we'll talk in a minute about future cruises. But when and what motivated you to create McMillan's on the Go?
So for me, McMillan's on the Go came out of a way to show parents that still work their 9 to 5 how to travel with their kids, because I got a lot of I don't know how to travel with my kids, while they're in school. And I tell people I'm a full-time educator. My kids still go to public school, and they hardly miss any school. And if they do miss any school, it's like 5 times for the year, if anything. I think the only time that they missed the school year was we already had our trip planned, and Florida and their hurricane. So we had a makeup day, but hey, our flight was already booked. So sorry, they're not going to be at school today. I'm not going to be at work today. So that was the only time that they truly missed school. So we wanted to show parents how you can work around your school, your kid's schedule, and truly travel. Because even though I'm an educator and I believe in kids being there in the classroom, I also believe that traveling is important, and they can learn so much from going to different places. Because my kids, the vocabulary and their conversation that they're able to hold just because of their exposure is powerful. And that's something that I would not trade for anything. And I basically wanted to show parents how you can do that by still also educating your kids, and they can still make it not miss a whole ton of days. Because I get that question, how are you teaching and you kids in public school and you always traveling? You can make it happen. And then I get, oh, well, it's summer expensive. If you plan right and you learn how to use your points and miles, you will be able to travel and not break the bank.
What are your platforms for McMillan on the Go? I know you have a website. What else?
So we have McMillan's on the Go on all socials. So TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you search McMillan's on the Go, you will find us. And on there, we share, again, how to travel with your family and kids, how to use points and miles to travel and not break the bank, and just educate parents and families how to show their kids.
Was McMillan's on the go? Was it in existence when the cruising lockdown happened?
Yes, we actually started in 2017. And it was so weird because I'm always traveling. So one of my coworkers, she was like, "Oh, McMillan's on the go again." I was like, "You know what? That's a good name."
Oh, that's how the name came about.
That's how the name came about. So I was like, "Ooh, thank you, girl. I'm gonna lock that in." So trademark and everything. So we came. That's how McMillan's on the go brought up. But in regards to the pandemic, so people may not like this, or they may or may not like it. But during the pandemic, when it happened in March, we were scheduled to go to Rio de Janeiro, and we had to cancel that. And March was the only month of that year we didn't travel. So
Get out.
So March, April, May, we did local stuff around Florida and surrounding areas. But after that, we was on a plane. We was, I'm sorry, but we was milking those $29 flights. We went to a lot of places.
That's great to hear. I was in Florida at that time, and I was dumb. I should have been like you guys, because what I did was climb the walls. I was working from home because of because of COVID, and I was so miserable because we couldn't cruise, and I had cruises scheduled for 20, and had they obviously got canceled, and I never thought. And I've had conversations with lots of people who did like you did. I never thought about doing alternate travel. It would have been a good chance to see some of America, but also, some people got out of Dodge. I mean, there were a lot of people who went to Mexico and different places, and a lot of like condo or resort type places. You would have like the whole place to yourself just about. It might be 50 people there.
Exactly.
Yes, that's what we did. We just traveled around the United States. That's what we did, and then we did go to Puerto Rico a couple of times.
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
We went to Puerto Rico round trip for $29.
Wow.
Per person. So we did take advantage of it. So like I said, we went to Puerto Rico, we went to Colorado, we went to New Orleans, we went to New York, we went to Vegas several times. We were out. We took advantage of it.
Yeah, there's plenty of beaches in driving distance, so we hit up all the beaches that we could around here.
Mm-hmm.
In the natural springs in Florida, there's a lot of those. The wildlife parks. So we did a lot of outdoor stuff.
Well, I was going to ask you. After the lockdown ended, a lot of cruise, creators and influencers or whatever you want to call them, sort of hit the ground running and just went on trip after trip. But you guys never stopped.
Yep, we never stopped. The only time we didn't travel in 2020 was March. March, when it actually
we didn't know what was going on.
We didn't know what was going on. Our trip to Rio was canceled, and then after we just April we were somewhere.
Did you ever reschedule your trip to Rio?
We didn't. We have not been to Rio since, and we still have that credit that expires in December of this year.
Oh, but I suspect you got some plans, or at least they're churning in your mind.
Yes, we do have some plans to make it happen for us. But yes, we definitely have to go because the kids.
What was your first cruise after the lockdown was lifted?
The first cruise, was it Antarctica? No, we went. Oh, that's right. We went to, that was Bahamas again. So that was after the lockdown. We went to Bahamas. It was Bahamas and Mexico again. Or was it?
No, it wasn't Mexico. It was Bahamas.
It was just
Yeah,
Bahamas.
it was just Bahamas.
So we went to Bahamas several times after that. And then the biggest one was Antarctica.
Which ship did you go to on your first cruise back?
I don't remember. Do you remember?
I think it was Liberty again, but it was different crew. It wasn't the same crew. We loved Liberty so much the first time because of the cruise director.
Yeah, Cookie. He was amazing.
I don't know if you ever experienced that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with. Now he left.
Yeah,
right?
Yes, he did.
We thought it was going to be the same type of thing. We brought her sister along with us and our kids, but it was a different crew. But we still enjoyed it. It was still a good time.
So let's talk about the future. What do you have booked, or do you have anything booked? What are you thinking about?
So right now we are thinking about Australia and to officially go to Asia. Like I said, we've been to Asia by way of Istanbul, but I actually want to go to an official Asian country, so to speak. So that's our goal for this year. Between this year and next year is Australia and to hit up Asia.
That's you're planning that, or is it booked? Is it?
No, it's planned. It's not officially booked yet because again, I use a lot of points to do most of our land and hotel travel. So I'm still racking up some more before we officially lock that in.
Okay. And what's on your cruise and travel bucket list? I mean, where you've gone to some pretty exotic places. Antarctica. You're getting ready to go to Asia. Where haven't you been that you plan to get to besides Rio?
We want to do an Alaskan cruise. That's something that's been on our bucket list for the longest. So we are trying to make an Alaskan cruise happen. And I do also want to do a European cruise. Just start off from Barcelona and just hit up the different places around there. So that is the plan, but most likely Alaska is going to come first. My son has been asking about Alaska. Vince loves to do cruises and the ease of it. So that's one of the things that we are trying to make happen. We're going to make happen.
Yeah, and hopefully it'll be a expedition, one in Europe, one of those smaller ships going down the river, maybe Viking or something like that, going on a small river cruise. I want to experience one of those too.
Yeah, we just did our first river cruise. Oh my goodness, it was wonderful. First of all, it would have been wonderful just in and of itself, just the river cruise aspect of it. But we went on Amber Waterways, and Amber Waterways has something special. It's called the Soulful Experiences. So it takes their regular river cruises, but it adds a number of cultural components to it that appeal to people of the Black and African diaspora. So when we went,
I like that.
in addition to it was 7 days on the river, but then there was 3 days in Paris. So we went, on a tour all about Josephine Baker. We went to, a part of Lyon, France, that was very, very culturally diverse. And we went to a Senegalese restaurant. So it's just it was one of their normal cruises, but if you get like the soulful version, it's just some additional things to appeal to us. So yeah. So I want to go on a river cruise again. Just a river cruise, but as long as they have, this is Amber Waterways, as long as they have the soulful experience versions, I'm partial to that. So they have one that goes to Egypt. Ours was to France, obviously, but they also have one that's Egypt. They have one that's Portugal on the Douro, and I'm probably missing one. There's one more. Oh, Colombia. Yeah, look into that if you once you get serious about a river cruise.
All right. Thank you.
And I don't work for Amber Waterways, but I can't help but to suit that up because it's well deserved.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking.
Oh, anything else on your bucket list?
No. We want to hit 100 countries.
There you go.
So that's we're still baby steps in it now. So
If you stop going to places that we've
Yeah.
been to a million
yeah,
times.
I'm a sucker for repeating great spots. So that's one our thing. We repeat a lot of locations. So I don't know if I should even have that as a goal because I like repeating places. If I like it, I'm gonna go there several times.
Well, it's been a pleasure meeting you both virtually. Before we let you go, though, a couple of light questions, maybe even fun questions, and then perhaps an oddball question, and it's oddball in that it doesn't directly relate to cruising. So the first question is kind of an easy one, but it helps me get some ideas. So for each of you, what's your favorite cruise drink and cruise food? Or it could be cruise and travel drink and cruise and travel food.
For me, I love me some pina colada. So I have a thing where I will have a pina colada every country or every place I visit, so I can see what it tastes like. And in regards to food, I only eat seafood, so I'm a pescatarian. So, yeah, I don't really have a favorite. They got salmon, I'm good.
Well, Kaveen, speaking of salmon, you said you had Alaska on your list. Oh my goodness. We went to Alaska last year, and so there's so much fresh salmon. We went to a salmon bake. It was so you'll get your fill of salmon and also crab legs in
Oh
Alaska.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, for me, my favorite drink, when we travel to any country, I like to try their local beer. So whatever country we're in, I ask for the local favorite beer, and I have a drink of that. As far as food, I love Guy's Burgers. I love getting them fresh off the grill on the Carnival Cruise.
Yep. Kaveen, you mentioned pina colada. Have you ever heard of a Miami Vice?
I have.
Okay, because it's pina colada mixed with strawberry daiquiri. So
I don't think she's had it.
Yeah.
She's heard of it.
She heard of it.
yeah, I love pina coladas on cruises, but lately I've been, I switched between a pina colada and a Miami Vice. So. Okay, next question. What's your most memorable or funniest or even most embarrassing cruise or port experience?
My most memorable is the first cruise we took together to sail off from Carnival. It was just, I didn't expect it to be like they said it was. It was definitely a party. Everybody was there. It was so many people. I couldn't believe how many people were on the ship. And that was just around the pool area. The music was good. The vibe was good. It just was, I didn't expect for them. It is the party ship. And that's one of the things that attracted us to it. Like the cruise director, he really set it off. It was just a very memorable experience for me, that first sail off from Carnival.
Yeah, no one does a sail away like Carnival. Although Virgin Voyages is close.
Yeah, I want to get on a Virgin cruise too. Yeah, all adult. See what that's like.
Yeah, I loved my first. I've only been on once, and of course you gotta find some place for the kids though, because I call it an adult playground.
Yeah, that's what I hear.
How about you, Kaveen? What's your most memorable or funniest or even most embarrassing cruise experience?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm trying to think of one. I remember just going with our kids on the cruise, their first cruise, and just their excitement, just being in the middle of the ocean. Those are moments that really melt me and just make me treasure our traveling together. And I love looking back at it with them, when we were preparing for this cruise and I pulled up their first cruise and hear their little voices and how they were talking. It was just amazing. Those are the things I treasure.
Great. Okay. Finally, the oddball question. So you have a large following. So welcome to McMillan's on the Go fans and friends listening. We hope you have enjoyed what you have heard and will come back to the Joy of Cruising podcast to check out other episodes or even join our Facebook group. So Kameen and Vincent, share one thing that my listeners and your fans and friends don't know about each of you.
All right, I'll go first. So one thing you may not know is that I love to write. I used to write for the Orlando Magic Daily. So if you Google Vincent McMillan, Orlando Magic, you'll pull up some articles from me when I used to write for the Orlando Magic basketball team, as well as I have some ebooks and a book on Amazon. If you type in Vincent McMillan books or Vincent McMillan Amazon, you can see some of the stuff I've written before.
Wow, writing for the Orlando Magic, that sounds like a dream job.
It is. It just doesn't make a lot of money until you start, selling your stuff to people. So it takes a lot of time to write. You got to be in tune, but it was great. I was able to get access to the locker rooms, to the practices, all that kind of stuff. But it's a grind to actually get, your media business started with writing. So taking it, going to get back into it though.
Very good. Kameen, what don't we know about you?
I don't know. I don't know what to say for this point, to be honest with you, Paul. But what I can say is I love to put trips together. Like I said, I'm an educator by heart. I love to include the kids. I know a lot of people like, oh, there go the kids coming. But you know what? If you have a controlled environment and you make it happen, kids can have a great time. And of course, and I do love the adults only time. So we got to have our moment. I get it. But I don't want people to leave kids out. But that's one of the main things. I don't know if I can put this out there, but we are planning an Antarctica cruise for 2026. So
Going back, huh?
Yes, we had a lot of people ask us about if we can put one together because they want to take their kids. So we are planning one for a group. So we're planning.
So this is going to be a group cruise.
Yes, this is going to be a group cruise, December of 2026. Once the details are all finalized, we can put that information out.
Well, I tell you, once the details are finalized, shoot them to me because, you are now an alum of the Joy Cruising Podcast. And so I will put it on the Joy Cruising Podcast group. And I'll just say, hey, this is Kameen and Vincent who were on the show back in, I can't remember when your show airs, let's say November. They're doing a group cruise. And if any of you have listened to their episode, we talked a lot about Antarctica, so they're going back. So I'll give you some, I'll be glad to give you some promo once you let me know what the details are.
Oh, most definitely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Kameen and Vincent, it is so good to get to meet you. Thank you for coming on the Joy of Cruising podcast. All the best to McMillan's on the Go. And as I like to say, we will see you on the ocean.
Thank you so much for having us. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
The Joy of Cruising and Cruising Interrupted, each $16.99 plus shipping, and new release, The Joy of Cruising Again for $18.99 can be ordered at the link on thejoyofcruisingpodcast.com. For each of the 3 books, use the discount code Joy of Cruising Podcast and get $4 off. The Joy of Cruising books are also available at Amazon. Order the ebook at Amazon or your favorite online retailer. Stay in touch by joining the Joy of Cruising Podcast Facebook group or following the Joy of Cruising Podcast on Instagram. We're constantly adding new shows. Please leave a review and tell a friend about us. We hope you enjoyed this brief escape to the ocean. See you next week.